the whole hand, taking every nuance, the wrinkles in my skin, the hair on my knuckles, and I would flip my hand over, I would look at my palm. Certainly am doing the most here with all this new masculine theory merch, but gentlemen, if you are interested in the masculine theory aesthetic, then you can purchase hoodies, t-shirts, caps are my favorite, and also little stickers for your laptops and whatnot in the link in the description below. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about accelerating your spiritual awakening and what are some very practical steps that you can use to start integrating and more frequently drop into that field of presence, that extreme now in this present moment, which again will heighten you to become the more conscious controller of your everyday environment. And this is essentially the thesis I really am doing the most here with all this new masculine theory merch. But gentlemen, if you are interested in the masculine theory aesthetic, then you can find the link in the description below, and you can get hoodies, t-shirts, caps, stickers, an assortment of all kind of goodies that will ship directly to you. So check that out if you are interested. But coming over to the premise of this video, which I believe will be very, very resourceful for you if you are again starting to move into this vein of becoming more spiritually aware and more associated with that extreme experience of presence, that extreme now, that ineffable feeling of the being in the present moment, of the extreme now. And one of the tools that I find really resourceful that will no means take on a bearing on you is this idea of lucid dreaming, and that being a precursor to lucid living. You see, one of the symptoms, you could say, of a spiritual awakening, becoming again more associated with the present moment, that indescribable now that brings you back into the seat of the conscious self and the controller of your reality, is it also showing up in your dreams. You begin to become conscious of your dreams and sit more frequently into that seat of the observer, the witness, as you will. And I wanted to read to you a passage from the book Transurfing by Vadim Zeland. Some of you may be familiar with his Bible, Transurfing Reality, which is actually back there on my, I don't know if you can see here, kind of multicolored, heavy book at the back. This is more of a condensed version, Transurfing Reality in 78 days. And I wanted to share with you the first principle of awakening. And just to give you a little overview of the book, Transurfing Reality is essentially a map of how you can start to intentionally direct your consciousness and begin to manifest reality as you see so fit. The first principle Vadim Zeland is very, very strong on, and I equally will agree with him in this, right, is the idea of waking up into that field of presence. And the way he described it was very, very interesting, and starts to tie into some of my own unique experiences with being present, being in the now, being the creator, through this analogy, through this example of the dreamer. So when we start to lose our way in regards to being again the conscious creator of our world and not slipping back into drifting and needless suffering, we need to understand that we are a dreamer, or be awakened and realize that you are a dreamer and everybody else is a dreamer. And like you have that indescribable moment of realization when you wake up in a lucid dream, so you should have the same feelings where you realize you're present in your waking life. That everything around you, this reality, the screen you see me through here, if you even look at your hands at this moment, you have complete and utter jurisdiction over this moment now, and you can begin to become the architect of whatever you so wish to bring into fruition. So wake up, be aware, and remember that everyone is a dreamer, and everything that is happening around you is nothing more than a dream. Only the dream no longer has any control over you. Again, be present to this moment that the external events are meaningless. They're fog, they're smoke and mirrors. And the only true point of creation comes from the internal. Your external world is going to be a reflection of your internal world. And if you can begin to cultivate that peace, that abundance, and whatever you wish to bring in, joy, love, equilibrium, start within. Start by cultivating that inner kingdom within you. Now that you have woken up in the dream, you can influence how events will unfold. The same rationality behind lucid dreaming. As soon as you become aware that you're in a lucid dream, what's the first thing you might think of doing? Flying. That's typically the one people's minds go to most of all. Some people might choose to, let's say, recreate a pleasant memory. I'm having a lot of fun at the moment with meditating in my dreams, which is a very trippy experience. Your advantage lies in awareness. Feel your strength. Strength is always yours, and when you remember it. From now on, everything will be as you want it to be. I know this is a very difficult practice to exercise, but we need to be consciously coming back to this realization when we are present, that we are the creator, that we are the architect, that we hold the pen to write our own unique story. One of the very practical ways that you can start practicing this into your life is through reminders on your phone. There was a really good app that I'm not sure is available now called Lucid something, but essentially it was a lucid dream trainer. And the way it would work is that you would set it up on your phone and it would ping at random intervals throughout your day. And whenever it would do this, you would do what is called a reality check. And a reality check is where you stop everything what you're doing at the moment and you use a cue to bring you back into the now, into the moment, into presence. What I used to do is when I hear that kind of chime, I would bring up my hand, I would look at the back of my hand, take a deep breath, take in the whole hand, take in every nuance, the wrinkles in my skin, the hair on my knuckles, and I would flip my hand over, I would look at my palm. Again, looking at the creases and line in my palm, maybe any sweat that's on the skin, any calluses, and then I would turn my hand over again. And I would take in that moment for a good 20 to 30 seconds. Breathe, remember I'm here, I'm now, I'm present. I'm in control of this moment, I am the architect. And then I would go back to whatever I was doing at that time. And you can set this to small amounts of reality checks, and then you can begin to add more, 5 to 6, 7 to 8, 9 to 10. And what you're doing is you're training yourself to constantly come back to the realization that you are the divine creator. That everything you see here is just code, it's just fog, it's just energy, it's just potential. And that you are the one that directs the intention of your consciousness with your thoughts, the power of thoughts, to bring things into creation. And that is something that you must keep hammering home in regards to how you can, again, start bringing your things that you wish to come true to come true. I'm just going to talk a little bit about Vadim Zeland's interpretation here because I think it's very poignant and runs congruent to a lot of my thinking. It may help you grasp the analogy of awakening and being the creator a little bit more comprehensively. So, your birth into this life represents a new awakening after a series of past incarnations, dreams about reality. From the moment you appeared in this world, you have had amazing abilities. You could hear the rustling of the morning stars, see auras, and communicate with birds and animals. The entire world was an astonishing extravaganza of luminous energy, and you were the magician, capable of controlling it. However, you soon fell once again under the influence of others and were plunged into a dream, plunged into fog, plunged into the matrix. Why do you let your heart and your mind drink in so readily, so freely, the thoughts and ideas of other people who would seek to condemn you? Why is that something that you allow to permeate into your subconscious? Why are you allowing yourself to cripple your own powers, to castrate you off your divine power? This is what you must be telling yourself when you listen to the naysayers and the individuals that are clouded in their own ideology. However, you soon fell under the influence under the influence of others and were plunged into dream, plunged into Maya, the Hindus would call it, which is the illusion of this world. The dreamers constantly and intentionally focused your attention on the physical aspect of reality. As a result, your magical abilities were lost. If you focus too much on what is, on the tangible physical realm, the external realm at all, and you pay no attention to the majesty, the divinity, the extreme abyss of potential that is within you, then you do yourself a huge disservice. You are cutting yourself off from source, off from God, off from cosmos, off from universe. Have you ever felt as if life were a dream in which reality is controlling you rather than you controlling it? The time has come to reclaim your former power. Gentlemen, this is a very important lesson that we need to keep reminding ourselves, and it might be the only lesson you need to keep reminding yourselves. If there's something that I wish for you to take away and integrate into your life, it is those reality checks. It is those moments of mindfulness throughout the day. It is those moments of pause to come back to your composure, to come back to truth, to connect back with source, to connect back with everything, and know that everything you see outside of you is merely an extension of what you already have inside, and that choice is yours. So brothers, if you subscribe to anything of which I've said here, you can subscribe to me, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Take care.